Well, welcome to it, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Lewis Turner here at First Coast News, Jacksonville, Florida, covering Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia. Thank you for joining us for this stream. Typically we're here with Robert and Lee for this half-hour stream, but in fact, we've got a couple of them on a pretty cool assignment. Robert and Lee have been covering what would be coming up with the Artemis launch here, which was originally scheduled for February 6th. Robert getting some on-the-ground reporting out of Kennedy Space Center today, and in fact has learned that the testing had been kind of pushed back and canceled. It's supposed to happen this weekend, and so now that launch being moved to what would be the 8th. So it looks like Super Bowl Sunday. We might have a Super Bowl and an Artemis manned rocket launch as they send people up to circle the moon. But a lot more on that coming up in a minute. But that's why you're seeing me right now. We'll, of course, have this stream. We'll be streaming again at 4:30 and taking a look at some of the conditions around the First Coast right now. Let's switch things over to a different computer. I may have told you the wrong one, Danae. That's the one. We are going to look at radar here in just a moment, because we do have a few showers out there. So I want to get to the here and now. I'm not going to bury the lead too much because I know a lot of people are asking questions. In fact, I've had two already about bomb cyclones today. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what that means for us as far as absolutely bone-chilling frigid temperatures as we get into Saturday late and really our Sunday and Monday mornings, absolutely cold, freezing cold, quite literally, but even colder than anything we've had so far this season. And truly, the coldest air we've had move in more than a decade, and I'll explain that as well. And then, of course, I'm going to address the elephant in the room, which is a lot of snow talk. And I know we here in Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia, get our ears perked up for that. So I do want to address the snow potential. But let's go out to the beach right now. Today, we're talking about the brief warming trend out around our area, and that has been it's really just today. All right, so we've been as high as the upper 60s in some parts of our area already today. 59 at the beach. We do have that east-northeast wind that's kind of keeping things a little bit more mild for our beaches, a little bit more cool. But there are some areas certainly that we've been in the upper 60s and we haven't needed the jacket. So we've been seasonable today. It does seem like last weekend where we were pushing 80 is a distant memory, isn't it? Your next 12 hours in Jacksonville. Okay, so let's not get tonight's not the night to worry. Tonight would be the night to prepare, perhaps. We're thinking about the plants and the pipes, all the things you need to do in order to protect. I'll have a little segment on pool pumps here in just a minute. But temperatures overnight, not that bad. We're going to have cloud cover moving in with some of those off and on showers later through the afternoon. So temperatures, by the time you're waking up Saturday morning, in the low 40s. So Saturday morning, not the big deal. It truly is going to be later in the day, Saturday afternoon, where that low, what we would call the bomb cyclone, which is going to stay well off our coast, moves away and pulls in a lot of that cold air, and it's going to bring with it some really windy conditions too. So we do the weather impact alert. That's to get you ready for, any preparations you need to make, any change to your kind of day-to-day routine. And certainly there's going to be some requirements here over the weekend where you make some changes. But we're going to go Saturday afternoon, really truly afternoon. So 1, 2 o'clock when temperatures will begin to drop through Monday morning. And then it'll be Monday midday before we're really warming back up again above freezing. And then our temperatures, while still cool next week, won't be this kind of record cold that we're going to get for Sunday morning and Monday morning. So record cold potential for both mornings for both those dates in history. Wind chills in the single digits as you wake up Sunday morning. We have included the potential for a snow flurry. I'm going to tell you where. We're going to talk about primarily focusing on southeast Georgia for that, coastal southeast Georgia near Glenn County. Maybe in an even smaller off chance. I'm not overly confident in this. It's more of a question mark. But if there is a flurry at the beach, what kind of timing we're looking at looks to be, while most would be sleeping Saturday night into Sunday morning, maybe that midnight hour of that potential. But we're not forecasting any accumulation there. And the need is to stay in your warm spot really all day Sunday, layer up. I know we've got the Donna Marathon out at the beach where you're going to be outside. If you're one of the thousands that'll be out there either running or or volunteering, spectating, whatever it may be, you're going to have to protect your skin because of the very real potential of frostbite or even hypothermia, because things are going to get downright frigid. So let's look at our Saturday. Low 41, high of only 52. We're going to hit that high of 52 probably around 11 o'clock. Have made note of a Glenn County flurry. Cold winds. I draw your attention to that bottom left box where the northwest winds are pulling in 20 to 30 plus. Northwest is very important here when it comes to our snow forecasting. If it was a strong northeast wind with this temperature profile, I would have a greater confidence in a kind of ocean effect snow event out at the beaches. But this is not that. This will be more northwest, really strong gusty winds pushing from onshore, offshore. And then your Sunday, as we look ahead to the real bone-chilling day, low temperature 20 in the morning. And that means dangerous wind chills, dangerous cold. I mean, the air temperature enough gets to that danger level for anybody that's going to be outside an extended period of time and doesn't have access to adequate heating, and downright frigid. This is Saturday night. We, have had the question about pipes. It's absolutely a necessity that many of us, maybe drip the pipes, run that pencil thin kind of stream. You only have to do it on one faucet, kind of running that hot water side in your home, so that way you're getting water flowing. And then the outdoor fixtures, like your hoses, your garden hoses attached to spigots outside. Let's detach those and drain those garden hoses, and make sure any exposed PVC or any pipes outside get wrapped. Right, so we don't want a burst pipe that'll cost thousands. In fact, Danae, let's take a look. I was showing the pool pump. As we talk about that, many folks around the First Coast lucky enough to have a pool, and there's my pool pump and running constantly. In fact, I might be on the more aggressive side. I've just put but you notice the exposed PVC. So if things aren't running and you've got it above ground there, the water that sits still within that PVC gets below 32, the water within the PVC will expand, and the PVC pipe itself contracts in the cold, so that's what can lead to cracking and causing some $1,000. So you want to get down into your control panel. If you have a digital one like myself, you hit that time on the display, and then you can program it. I've been running it 24/7 at this point, starting out, so I just can turn my mind off to it on a low speed. So at least you've got motion, but you at least want to set it to where it's running overnight. And on Saturday, I'd have it running from starting at 8 p.m. and have it running essentially all night into Sunday at, say, noon. And if you have one of these old boxes, I have this as well. That timer there, you have those little clips that you can clip on the side to set the timer. So just a little kind of pool knowledge. I do want to address, there's plenty of folks out there with pools, and you do need to take those extra couple of steps here. Really, if you want to go and program now, so you kind of set it and forget it, that would be great. But certainly tomorrow would be the last kind of actionable time, because the last thing, and speaking from experience, haven't had not because of freezing, but just because of old equipment, haven't had a crack and a leak. It's such a pain in the butt, and it costs money, and you're dealing with that. So the last thing we want you to do is have to spend a lot of money over this latest cold snap that we've got coming. So back to the graphics here for the last couple of seconds before we take a short break. This map, the National Weather Service is doing work. Shout out to the Weather Service office in Jacksonville, all the Weather Service offices around the Southeast, in Charleston, Tallahassee, doing lots of work, because the map has got color, and they're all over the Southeast. Extreme cold warning. Again, I mentioned this is the first time ever that we've had one of these. They just started issuing them in 2024, previously known as a wind chill warning, and we haven't had one of those since 2014. So you got to go back more than a decade with extreme cold warning or an analogous warning. Up towards the Carolinas, they're in winter storm warning mode right now. So that would be from the Savannah River up and through Columbia, Charleston, and into Charlotte, covering a bit of Atlanta as well, looking at some pretty good snow totals there, and making note of our winter weather advisory for Glenn County, and that's Weather Service, and that's really the only county in our area with that snow potential, at least to where you could have up to, at most, a ½ inch of snow that would fall there from inland to coastal Glenn County as well. That'd be through Saturday evening to Sunday morning. Much more on that coming up after we take a short time out, so stay with us. All right, welcome back, everybody. So Weather Impact Live, and we continue to stream, talking about that cold weather on the way. And I mentioned before the break, all the warnings and advisories in place. So we went through that winter weather advisory there for Glenn County. Another layer, we got gale warnings, so that's just indicative of how windy it's going to be. And then that bigger picture of the map all over the southeast. Do we have some sort of advisory because of this latest area of low pressure kind of moving across the country? So a very, very busy weekend ahead. Getting back to our currents outside, we've got 66 Jacksonville. Look at the big difference between Jacksonville, NES Jacks, Keystone, Gainesville, all at 66, and then Mayport. All right, so that would be your beaches with that east-northeast wind. That's keeping the beach relatively cool. So tough to hit 60 degrees there, but for a lot of other sites and up and down through parts of St. Johns County and into Flagler, we've got barely above seasonable temperatures there. Across our country right now, we're kind of watching the Gulf, really. We got some very, very cold air racing out of Canada, and it's going to combine with a low that's going to dig out of the Gulf and move right across the state of Florida, reemerging into the Atlantic and becoming a potential bomb cyclone. So, big scary words we use in meteorology. Bomb is, of course, one, referring to a bombing out low, bombogenesis. It's when an area of low pressure drops 24 millibars in 24 hours. So a very rapid drop in pressure means a strengthening system. And then the term cyclone simply means cyclonic airflow, which would be counterclockwise flow around the low. So let's take the fear out of that. It just means a strengthening low. And that's going to mean what we saw for the Carolinas, those big advisories and warnings, the winter storm warning they have in place. That's going to be what kind of is the driving generator of snowfall with that moisture wrap around the low and coming into the coast. For us, very, very windy. We already see, look at a few showers popping up there on radar, primarily north of I-10. So a little bit of southeast Georgia, where Pierce County getting some of that and even starting to sneak into Glenn. This will not be snow. It's still way too warm. I showed you those temperatures. We're waiting for really Saturday afternoon for the cold air to come racing in. So closer look, Waycross. A little bit of snow, I've got snow on the brain, y'all. Rain falling right now from Waycross to Folkestone, sliding over to Brunswick. So don't be surprised by a spotty shower. This isn't heavy blinding rain, and this is a pretty quick moving little blob for you on the screen. Very, very frigid air, though, coming in straight out of Canada. So we're looking at the Dakotas at 6, International Falls, Minnesota at 3. Very, very bone-chilling air will make its way in. Looking at the polar air dipping down all the way through Monday. So watch Monday, and then watch as we get into Tuesday how those, what we call the 850 lines, kind of retreat back to the north. Not enough to give us a true warm spell. We're not seeing the 850 numbers bounce back like that, but so we'll still look to have a cooler week next week. We will have a couple of days deep in the forecast period where we get a bit of a warm up, but we do watch all the way through Monday morning for absolutely frigid conditions. So your weekend, 41 Saturday morning, 52 by the afternoon, by the noon hour, and then afternoon temperatures actually start dropping. It's got to drop pretty good ways to get to that 21 by Sunday morning. Could see 20, could see some teens as air temperature in southeast Georgia as well. Air temperature bad enough, but when you factor in the winds that we're going to get by Saturday afternoon, we'll have gusts to 35. By Sunday morning, we're going to have gusts to 25 and up to 30, potentially at the beach. That means your wind chills are going to range anywhere from 7 degrees to 15 degrees. And even your afternoon wind chills, so we're going to be back up and above freezing on Sunday air temperature-wise by 11, 12 o'clock. But even through the afternoon with those winds, 15 to 25, even if we're above freezing, it's still going to feel cold. So this isn't a day we get a warm up. It's not a day we're wearing layers in the morning, and by the afternoon we're peeling off the layers. We're keeping those all day long. So again, Saturday afternoon through Monday morning, upper teens to middle 20s, wind chills from 7 to 15, afternoon 30s to 40s with wind chills still in the 30s, with the main need for you bundling up and staying warm with record cold in place. Look at Sunday morning. That 21 would be a record, would break the record of 1977 of 24. Monday would be 23 degrees, and that would tie the record. A moment ago, I mentioned Robert Speta had taken a little trip down south. He went where it's a little bit warmer, at least, taking a little bit of a detour here in our stream. We'll get back to some snow forecasting, so stick with us. But in the meantime, wanted to check in with Robert. He filed this report from Kennedy Space Center as he got a lot of activity happening with the Artemis launch that is scheduled for February.
Well, there it is. That is Artemis 2, the SLS, the Space Launch System carrying the Orion spacecraft. And this is going to take us back to the vicinity of the moon for the first time since 1972. And I'm telling you, somebody who just grew up always interested in astronomy and science, why I became a meteorologist. This is incredible. I almost lost for words. It's just Artemis, just to put you in perspective, is the Greek twin sister. It's a Greek god, twin sister of Apollo. This is following right in the heels of Apollo here. We're going to go back to vicinity, not land on the moon, but much like the Apollo missions leading all the way up through Apollo 10, it circled and did everything but land. Artemis 2 is going to basically follow that same guideline. They're going to circle, they're going to run all the tests, make sure everything works aboard the spacecraft. And then on Artemis 3, that'll be the next kind of Apollo 11, where they're actually going to land on the moon. But yeah, there's so much. We're going to be streaming live out here at the Kennedy Space Center throughout the launch when it does take place. And it's going to be a first and a once in a lifetime. So if you're in the area, watch it. If you're not, you can be watching live on our streams. But it is it's absolutely incredible. I'm truly lost for words. Just wow.
All right, welcome back to it, everybody. So let's get right back into our cold weather alerts and what's going to be happening over the weekend. We talked about the record cold lows. We are going to even have even our high temperature Sunday is going to tie a record for coldest high temperature of just 43 we did back in 1980. So our chance of seeing some minor winter impacts. Looking at Glenn with the highest chance in that darker teal coloring there, that 10% shot of seeing. You noticed coastal Duval with it as well. This is issued in even parts of Tampa with a chance of seeing a flurry fly. And remember I mentioned those northwest winds and ocean effect snow. What would happen for us if we get those strong northwest winds, which we're confident in that, it'll kind of blow that cold air racing over that warm ocean water can create flurries. So very likely some snow falling 30, 40 miles off the coast of Jacksonville, which will impact mariners and in our shipping industry. But looking down towards Tampa, when you get those northwest winds coming off a very warm Gulf and then the frigid air temperatures aloft, it's not out of the question. It has happened before, but not out of the question to see a flurry there as well. So let's get into it with our computer modeling. We're looking at temperatures. We're going into Saturday, and you notice those flurries moving through Saturday afternoon into Glenn County. This is our in-house model. We call it the graph model. And then notice those temperatures as well by Sunday morning back down into the 20s with those northwest wind barbs pushing any of that snowfall close to the coast, isn't it? It's so close you can almost reach out and grab it. And I know you want it, and many people kind of wish casting for it. It just, while possible, doesn't seem very likely at this moment with that certain wind orientation. Brunswick would be getting the wraparound moisture from that low, and that would be the main potential for anywhere in Waycross, Charleston County, Brantley, Pierce, and Camden. Maybe extreme Nassau County if the things line up perfectly, but otherwise it'd be a tough go. We're talking about bomb cyclone and cyclogenesis, the low that scoots right up the coast. You see there, that's what's going to kind of inch closer and closer to the Carolinas. The closer the orientation of the Carolinas, the more likely that moisture kind of wraps around. I'm going to go back one graphic and just kind of, so you can kind of watch again. Watch Saturday around 4 p.m. That quick flurry moves through Glenn, and then another band from the wraparound comes about 8, 9 o'clock. So let's really, but at 4 o'clock, temperatures in Brunswick will still be in the low 40s. So tough for anything that falls to stick or even materialize. It may even melt before hitting the ground, but a flurry or two may fly for Brunswick and then St. Simons. By later on in the evening, though, when we're down to the 20s, anything that does fall certainly would stick around until we get back above freezing. Snow forecast. So this also from our in-house model, this showing that potential for any sort of snow right there on the edge. So, I mean, it is truly on that Glenn County, McIntosh County line for the potential of seeing maybe a half inch. So that it being so close, that's why some of our advisories include primarily just Glenn County. So will it snow on Saturday or Sunday morning? For the first coast, I just don't want you getting your hopes up if you're anything south of the St. Mary's River. While possible in that midnight to 1 a.m. hour, early Sunday morning, most would be asleep. And then while you wake up Sunday, that low will have moved so far up to the north that that moisture profile, it just doesn't suit it. We wait and we watch, though. So my eyes are firmly on Brunswick and St. Simons. Saturday temperatures, I noticed we're talking about hitting the high temperature before lunch, so 11 o'clock in the morning, and then dropping steadily after that. Wind chills even through the afternoon Sunday, so 4 o'clock after we've hit the teens or the single digits even, we're still right there around freezing even in the afternoon, with morning lows on Monday. Still a story, so why the weather impact alert extends into Monday morning. With temperatures 23 degrees Jacksonville, hard freeze potential, even all the way out to the beaches yet again on Monday. So another kind of Saturday night, we're getting the pool pumps and the pipes and the plants protected, people getting everybody bundled up. We do it again Sunday night for Monday morning, because Monday morning, as you know, obviously we had the Donna on Sunday, but Monday morning we are getting back to work and school. So those kids are going to need extra layers. Look at this Saturday night. We're already in the teens Saturday night with with wind chills down to the single digits for many Sunday morning, with those real feel temperatures kind of maxing out there in the 20s and 30s through the afternoon. Winds through the day, Saturday gusting up to 35. So very, very warm. And your Donna Marathon wind chills at 10 by 7 o'clock in the morning when folks are gathering and getting ready to go. And even as many are finishing, still in the 30s. So you got to take plenty of extra precautions. And I want you to stay aware. We're right back here 4:30. We always do our stream 4:30 every afternoon. So check that out as well. Would love to see you back. And of course, the regular broadcast at 5 p.m. In the meantime, I'm leaving you with your 7-day forecast.